Today on the third poll day, here I just want to introduce Mr. Vinod Zutshi, Deputy Election Commissioner. Mr. Sudhir Tripathi is also Deputy Election Commissioner. Mr. Lok Shukla, Deputy Election Commissioner, and Mr. Ashish Srivastava, he is Director General. So they are in charge of different states. So they will brief first. Mr. Joshi will brief. Then one by one, you will get all the information from the officers. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I would first of all mention about three states: Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, and Jammu and Kashmir. I begin with Delhi. As you know, today was it was a single-phased election in the NCT of Delhi. Delhi has 7 parliamentary constituency which went for polls today, covering 9 districts. I will tell the total number of electors who were eligible to vote today, which was 127,11146. It is 1.27 crores. You can note down. And the total number of candidates who were in the fray were 150. 150, that's right. The total candidates, 150. We had 8 general observers and 7 expenditure observers who had observed the today's polls on behalf of the Election Commission. We had deployed 608 micro observers in different polling stations, and we had also deployed a total of about 65,000 poll personnel. We deployed cameras, digital cameras 483, video cameras 513, and we also did webcasting, live webcasting from 157 polling stations in different constituencies of the NCT of Delhi. Let me inform all of you that there was no untoward incident in the entire polls today. The total percentage of poll which was recorded till about 15 minutes ago was around 64%. Individually, if I may just mention, before that, I will also compare it with what was the poll percentage in the year 2009 general elections, Lok Sabha. It was 52%. That means, as of now, there has been an increase of 12 percentage points as compared to 2009. You are also aware of the percentage poll that happened in the general elections of Assembly in 2013, which was about 66%. We do expect another rise of about 1% or so in the next maybe few hours. However, I would like to mention the PC wise, if you are interested. Chandni Chowk PC recorded 65.1. Northeast Delhi PC recorded 66.6. All right. Chandni Chowk was 65.1. Northeast was 66.6. East Delhi 64.0. New Delhi 65.9. Northwest Delhi 61.2. West Delhi 64.4. South Delhi 63%, and total average is 64, which is likely to go up by some percent in the coming hours. There were no obstruction, there were no incident of booth capturing, there was no untoward incident, as I mentioned. Regarding the seizures of cash, we have our colleague Mr. P.K. Das, who is going to tell all information about all the states which have gone to polls today, combinedly for the cash seizures and liquor seizure separately. Then I come to the next state, which is Uttar Pradesh. In Uttar Pradesh, this was the first phase. As you know, Uttar Pradesh is having 6 phases in all in the parliament elections. The number of constituencies which went for polls today were 10, involving 11 districts. The total number of electors here were 1.74 crores in all. we have the candidates. Number of candidates that we had had today were 146. The total party-wise list of candidates, they were total 146, as I said. Then the ECI observers, general observers were 10, expenditure observers were 10 for each parliamentary constituency. We deployed 2,365 micro observers in the polling stations, and we had 1,921 digital cameras, 721 video cameras, and we did webcasting from 423 polling stations. Live webcasting was done in a big number in UP as well. There was no untoward incident in entire phase that we had today. The percentage poll which has been recorded till now is 65%. This is almost 14 percentage points more than what we had in 2009. It was 51.30 in the year 2009. I can read out the PC-wise the poll percentage that has been recorded, which is like this: Aligarh 60.04. Yes. Aligarh has been 60.04. Baghpat has been 65.60. Bijnor 65.38. Bulandshahr 59.36. Gautam Budh Nagar 58.83. That is not. Noida, Ghaziabad 60.20. Hapur 63.65. Meerut 62.68. Sorry, Meerut 62.68. Muzaffarnagar has recorded 67.78. And similarly, Shamli has recorded 70.85. They have recorded more than the average, both the parliamentary constituency, and Saharanpur has recorded 70.64. I'll repeat: Muzaffarnagar 67.78, Shamli 70.85, and Saharanpur has recorded 70.64. Combinedly, it comes to around 65%. We may expect some further increase. As I mentioned, there has not been any untoward incident worth reporting. The third state which I am going to mention is about the Jammu and Kashmir. As you know, Jammu and Kashmir is also going for 5-phase election. Today's was the first phase, and Jammu constituency was in today's phase, involving 4 districts: Sambha, Jammu, Rajouri, and Poonch. The total number of electors involved in today's phase have been 18.48 lakhs. The total number of candidates who were in the fray today were 19. The total number of polling stations were 2,274. The general observers were 3, expenditure observer was 1, and police observer also we had deployed. It was 1. We had 201 micro observers deployed today. Then digital photography at 81 places, video cameras at 33, and webcasting was done at 60 polling stations in today's phase. I'm pleased to inform that in J&K also there was no untoward incident worth reporting. The percentage poll in J&K has been outstanding. It has recorded so far 66.29%. This is as compared to 49.71 we had in the general elections of 2009. It is almost 17 percentage points over the last general election figures. As far as seizure and other things are concerned, as I mentioned, Mr. P.K. Das, my colleague, will tell in the end. Now I hand over to my colleague, Mr.
Can you tell us the electors?
Can we have questions in the end?
Male, female, and youth.
Yeah, you want the voters?
Yeah.
All right. For J&K?
For all three.
Now, I'll repeat the percentage of voters because you have already noted just now. It is like this. The Samba has recorded 70.21. Now, these figures which I am giving, individual figures, average to around 64%. The latest that we have got is 66. So 2% gets spread over the individual PCs. Samba 70.21, Jammu 65.27, Rajouri 59.58, and Poonch 57%. These have been the four districts. In fact, these are the districts. The PC is the same, but this is district-wise figure that I have given to you. It is 17%. The number of electors, male and female, I would mention. I'll repeat the exact figure. The total electors were 1,848,553. That is 18,48,553. The male voters registered are 977,328. 977,328. That is 9,77,328, and female are 871,212. That is 8,71,212 are female in Jammu and Kashmir. Total voting percentage based on these individual district-wise figures which I have given works out to around 64. But the latest figure that we have received just about 10-15 minutes ago, it has gone beyond 66%, exact 66.29%, which is 17 percentage points than what we had in 2009. Now I hand over to my colleague Mr. Sudhir Tripathi, who would tell about his states today.
I'll be briefing you on Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh and Lakshadweep. In Madhya Pradesh, 9 parliamentary seats went to polls today, covering 17 districts, 15 whole and parts of 2 districts. The voter turnout up till 5 p.m. was 55.98%. There were queues outside several polling stations, hence it is likely to reach 60%. The voter turnout in the state in 2009 as a whole was 51.2%, and for these 9 parliamentary constituencies it was 53.82%. Today's election involved 16,592 polling stations and 1,44,35,531 electors. 1,44,35,531. These are distributed over 75,20,067 males, 69,15,183 female, and 279 others. We had deployed 10 general observers, 2 police observers, 9 expenditure observers, 70 assistant expenditure observers, 2,410 micro observers. Then for this phase 1 of Madhya Pradesh, 983 video cameras, 135 still cameras, and webcasting from 266 polling stations had been arranged. Elections were peaceful and absolutely incident-free. Now coming to Maharashtra. For first phase of Maharashtra, 10 parliamentary constituencies spread over 11 districts went to polls. The voter turnout up till 5 p.m. was 54.13%. Again, there were queues outside several polling stations, so it is likely to reach 58%. The voter turnout for the state as a whole in 2009 was 50.77%, and for these 10 parliamentary constituencies, it was 55.70%. These 10 parliamentary constituencies were spread over 19,184 polling stations. The electorate involved was 1,66,39,267, which is distributed over 86 lakhs 94,073 male, 79 lakhs 44,978 females, and 216 others. There were 201 candidates in fray, including 18 women. For management of polls, we had deployed 10 general observers, 2 police observers, 10 expenditure observers, 60 assistant expenditure observers, 231 micro observers. There were 188 flying squads and 166 static surveillance teams for the 10 parliamentary constituencies which went to polls today. Polling was peaceful and incident-free. Now coming to Chhattisgarh, Bastar parliamentary constituency of Chhattisgarh went to polls today. It embraces 6 districts and 1,797 polling stations. The voter turnout, and in Bastar, polling was for Bastar PC comprises of 8 assembly constituencies. So in 7 of those 8 assembly constituencies, polling was from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. and in 1 it was from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Voter turnout was 51.49%. During the 2009 Lok Sabha Elections, the voter turnout for the state as a whole was 55.27%, and for this Bastar PC, it was 47.33%. The voter turnout for Bastar PC in 2009 was 47.33%. Till 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. So it's more or less what it is. Yeah. I don't have the breakup of all the assembly constituencies, but the maximum and minimum I have with me. Jagdalpur recorded 67%, which is the highest, and Bijapur and Sukhma recorded 25%, which was the lowest. Jagdalpur was the highest with 67%, and Bijapur and Sukhma recorded 25% voter turnout. The number of candidates in Chhattisgarh is 8, including 2 women. The number of electorate is 12,99,068, spread over 6,33,778 males and 6,65,290 females. We have one incident in Sukhma district of district police Jawan getting injured due to an IED blast. Then coming to Lakshadweep, the single parliamentary constituency of Lakshadweep had its polls today. The voter turnout at 5 p.m. was 71.34%. There were queues outside polling stations, so it is likely to cross 80%. The voter turnout in 2009 Parliament elections was 85.98%. The electorate in Lakshadweep is 49,922, comprising of 25,433 male and 24,489 females. the number of 2009 it was 85.98%. It's less. It's less. And number of candidates is six. And polling has been absolutely peaceful and incidental.
Alok.
Total electorate is 49,922.
Friends, I'll brief you about so let me first tell you about Haryana. The whole state of Haryana went to poll today. There are total of 10 parliamentary constituencies in Haryana. A total of 230 candidates are in the fray, out of which 219 are male and 11 are female. The number of electors in the state of Haryana is 1,60,96,980. I'll repeat, 1,60,96,980. And if you want the breakup of male and female, it is 87,16,831 males and 73,80,149 females. The state has 16,244 polling stations at 9,684 locations. 10 general observers were on duty. There was 1 police observer on duty, 10 expenditure observers, 100 assistant expenditure observers, 5,000 micro observers, 5,546 video cameras were deployed, 416 still cameras were deployed, and from 949 polling stations, direct webcasting was done. The EPIC and PER percentage is 100% in the state of Haryana. The turnout in Haryana till about 5:30 p.m. was around 65%. However, there are still long queues, and it is expected that the turnout will reach around 73%. Around 73% is the expected turnout. In 2009 parliament elections, it was 67.9, roughly 68%. So there is a phenomenal increase in the turnout in Haryana. The polls in Haryana have been incident-free. Then let me talk about expected turnout, as I said, is around 73%. Let me talk about the state of I will maybe we'll finish and then we'll take questions. Then the next is the Union Territory of Chandigarh. The whole Union Territory of Chandigarh is one parliamentary constituency, and it went to poll today. There are 17 candidates in the fray, out of which 12 are male and 5 are female. The number of electors is 6,15,214, out of which 3,33,621 are male and 2,81,593 are female. There are a total of 519 polling stations. One interesting fact about Chandigarh is that all of these 519 polling stations have been made model polling stations in Chandigarh. They have been made a very, very welcoming place for the voters. The number of general observers is 1, expenditure observers is 1, micro observers is 56. 212 still cameras were deployed, and webcasting was done from 167 locations. EPIC percentage is 99.9%. The turnout for Chandigarh is likely to be again around 74%, because here also there are large number of queues, and it is expected that the polling will probably continue till around 8 p.m. Last time turnout for Chandigarh was 64%. There is a couple of things which I want to also tell you about Chandigarh. Some very special arrangements were made by the Chief Electoral Officer and the District Election Officer of Chandigarh for the facilitation of voters. One interesting thing which was done was that each polling station was provided with a computer where whenever anybody cast their vote, the electoral roll was there, so the name was ticked off on the computer, which was connected to a server, so that at any point of time people knew how many persons have cast their vote. Not only that, the presiding officers were sending information every 15 minutes on the number of persons in the queue, and citizens could send a SMS to find out the length of the queue at any given point of time at the polling station, so that they could choose the time when they can go and cast their vote with the maximum convenience. So these are some of the very interesting things, and of course the electoral search facility, etc., which has been done in other places, was also done there. But the length of queue information being sent through SMS is a very interesting thing which Chandigarh did this time. Now let me come to Jharkhand. The state of Jharkhand is going to polls in 3 phases. Today, 4 parliamentary constituencies went to polls. The number of candidates in these 4 parliamentary constituencies is 62, out of which 57 are male and 5 are female. The total number of electors is 57,16,940, out of which 30,35,028 are male and 26,81,909 are female. Today, the number of polling stations which went to poll were 5,606, 4 general observers, 2 police observers, 7 expenditure observers, 1,388 micro observers, 1193 video cameras, 1179 still cameras, and 271 live webcasting. The epic and PR percentage is approximately 99.4%. Now in Jharkhand, the expected turnout is around 58%, which is again higher than the previous turnout. The previous turnout in Jharkhand in the last parliamentary election was 50.89%. So roughly 51% is likely to go up to 58% in this election. There were some small incidents in Jharkhand, particularly in Giridih district. The Maoists came and they damaged 4 electronic voting machines and took away the battery of 1 electronic voting machine. So in 5 places there were these small incidents. Other than that, the poll was by and large incident free. This is Giridih district. Giridih. It will depend on, according to the current information, in 2 cases only the BU was damaged. So because the vote is recorded in the control unit, therefore it may not require a repoll. So we will actually get the detailed information, and the commission will then decide whether a repoll is necessary or not. If a repoll is required, then it will be done. This is just one in the. Yes. No, 4 constituencies. I said 4 constituencies. 4 constituencies in Jharkhand. Then let me. The names of the constituencies. I'll give it to you. I'm not carrying the names of the constituencies, but it's also available on our website. You can actually check. The next is the state of Odisha. The state of Odisha is going to poll in 2 phases. Today was the first phase, and also Odisha is having simultaneous elections to Parliament and the Legislative Assembly. So 10 parliamentary constituencies and 70 assembly constituencies went to poll today. The number of candidates I will give you separately for parliament and assembly. For the parliament, the number of candidates is 98, out of which 92 are male and 6 are female. Whereas for assembly, the number of candidates is 673, out of which 621 are male and 52 are female. The electorate is 1,36,59,804, out of which 69,93,098 are males and 66,66,112 are female. Number of polling stations is 17,267. There were 31 general observers, 20 expenditure observers, 70 assistant expenditure observers, 1,310 micro observers, 533 video cameras, 2,546 still cameras, and live webcasting from 205 polling stations. Now, in Odisha, the turnout is expected to reach around 67% for this particular phase of poll. The turnout of the last parliamentary election was 65.3%. So, in Odisha also we are likely to cross the turnout. In Odisha, there have been some instances where again Maoists have snatched away the electronic voting machines. We are told of 4 instances in Malkangiri, 1 in Koraput and 1 in Angul district of Odisha. So, 1 in Angul, 1 in Koraput and 4 in Malkangiri district, where the EVMs have been snatched away. Other than these incidents, the poll has been peaceful. There has been no major incident. Now, the last one for me is Bihar. In Bihar, Bihar is going for a 6-phase poll. Today, there were 6 parliamentary constituencies which went to polls. Total candidates were 80, out of which 69 are male and 11 are female. Number of electors is 94,67,567. 94,67,567, out of which 50,51,929 are males and 44,15,310 are females. The number of polling stations which went to poll today is 10,040. General observers 6, police observers 6, expenditure observers 6, assistant expenditure observers 39, micro observers 2,207, video cameras 525, still cameras 1557, webcasting from 474 polling stations. The percentage of photos in the electoral roll is 99.9%. The turnout in Bihar is expected to be around 55% this time, whereas last parliamentary election it was only 41.64%. So there is actually an increase of almost 15% in the turnout even in Bihar for these constituencies. Now 41.5 roughly. Now the in Bihar there have been some instances. One is that because of some Maoist problems, in 22 polling stations, polling party could not reach the polling station. So this will be definitely a case of repoll. These are actually adjourned polls where poll will have to be held later. And yeah, there are 19 cases in Jamui, 2 in Nevada and 1 in Gaya. These are 22 cases where to secure the safety and security of polling personnel, because of the threat, it was decided that it was not safe to go today, and therefore the polling parties did not go. And the poll will be held later on at an appropriate time. The one very sad incident has happened in Bihar. In this incident, there is a CRPF located at I'll tell you. Yeah. So this is in Munger district, in 40 Jamui parliamentary constituency. There is a place called Bhimban. So the CRPF Jawans were moving from this Bhimban to the cluster point where the polling parties were there to accompany the polling parties to the polling stations. On the way, at 3 a.m. in the morning today, first there was an IED blast on the road, and then the Maoists ambushed them and opened fire. The CRPF Jawans fought very bravely, and they were able to finally repel the Maoist attack. However, 2 Jawans lost their life in this battle on the spot. There were 7 Jawans who were injured. They were immediately shifted, and of them 4 were serious, so they were airlifted to Patna. They are in Patna hospital. 3 were not that serious, so they are being treated in Bhagalpur hospital. The condition of all of these 7 Jawans is stable. The Commission would also like to put on record its deepest sense of appreciation and, of course, the sorrow that the Commission feels at the death of these Jawans, but the deepest sense of appreciation for the bravery of these Jawans, because the point that I would like to mention to all of you about the bravery of our paramilitary forces, that in spite of the death of 2 of their colleagues and in spite of 7 persons getting injured, the rest of them, after repelling the attack, went on to complete the elections in the polling stations and remained on duty. And because of this, in spite of this incident, in this particular place, the poll continued. The poll did not stop. So with the deepest sense of appreciation, the Commission would like to place it on record. I think this is what I had to say. Thank you.
My name is.
हाँ वो बताएंगे आप.
Good evening. My name is Ashish Srivastava. I'll be briefing you about the election in Kerala and the Union Territory of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. First, I'll be telling you about Kerala. Kerala has 20 parliamentary constituencies, which are comprised of 140 assembly segments and 14 districts, as we all know. Kerala has 2 crore 43 lakh voters who are registered on the electoral rolls, including 1 crore 12 lakh women and 1 crore 17 lakh men. These also include 74,700 service electors. There have been a total of 21,427 polling stations in Kerala on 11,969 polling station locations. In the run-up to the election, a lot of study and field analysis of criticality and sensitivities and vulnerabilities was done. And as a result of that, 2,126 polling stations were identified as critical, and special security arrangements had been made with regard to these polling stations. Kerala has 100% epic coverage, 100% photo electoral roll coverage, and all voter slips had also been distributed in Kerala. Regarding the number of candidates who contested in this election in Kerala, a total of 269 candidates were in the fray. of which 67 were from national recognized parties, 4 were from state recognized parties, and 78 were from registered political parties. Besides this, there were 120 independent candidates in Kerala. So the total of 269 candidates also included 27 women candidates in 16 parliamentary constituencies, and there were 7 parliamentary constituencies in which there was more than one woman candidate. The Election Commission sent a good number of observers to Kerala, including 20 general, 20 expenditure, and 2 awareness observers, totaling to a total of 42 observers who had gone to the state of Kerala. Besides these, there were 1,591 micro observers deployed, and more than 1,04,000 poll personnel were on duty at the various polling stations in the state of Kerala. There were a total of 1,028 video cameras, 389 webcasting polling stations where webcasting was done, and 8,810 arms were deposited, licensed arms were deposited as a part of the preventive actions which were taken. More than 2,000 people were bound down under the various provisions of CRPC, and more than 18,000 non-bailable warrants were served during the period in the run-up to the poll. The election was overall peaceful, without any law and order incident reported till as of now. So it's been a good and a peaceful election in Kerala. The voter turnout has been 73.4%, and there were people in queues till the last reports which came to us, so it's likely to go a little higher. In the last parliament election, the turnout was 73.2%, so we marginally crossed that. 73.4%. This was at 6 p.m. and people were in queues at 6 p.m. So the figure is likely to be going higher. We are in the process of compiling and collecting the final figure of turnout of voters. It may be 1 to 2% higher, but we can come up with a firm figure only when we collect it. So the process of collection and compilation of the turnout figures is on, and we'll be releasing the figures as soon as they get firmly collected. Coming to the election in the Union Territory of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, there's one parliament constituency. There are 3 districts, we all know that. And there are a total of 2,69,000 registered voters in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The number of women voters are marginally more than that, than the number of male voters. Sorry, I said wrong. That was in Kerala. In Andamans, the number of male voters is 1,43,000, and the number of women voters is 1,26,000, including 420 service electors. The epic percentage here also is 100%, and more than 99% photo coverage in the electoral rolls, and more than 99% of the voters' slips were distributed to voters in the run-up to the poll day. There were a total of 15 candidates in the fray in this parliament constituency, which included 5 candidates of recognized national parties, 5 candidates of registered political parties, and 5 independents. The Election Commission had sent 2 observers here, one a general observer and the second an expenditure observer, who've been there all the while, and they've monitored the process of elections and have been reporting here. 3 micro observers were deployed, and a total of 1,544 poll personnel were on duty in the various polling stations. 3 video cameras were deployed, and webcasting has been done from 5 polling stations in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Andaman and Nicobar Islands, we know, are very far from the mainland, and connectivity issues are there, transportation issues are there. Polling parties have to do an arduous task by having to, go on boats and, even wade through waist deep waters in some of the polling stations. So a lot of arrangement had been done. We had got a safety audit of all the transportation arrangements and a number of mock run rehearsals of the communication arrangements done. The preparations were done with a lot of diligence and hard work, so we've been able to conduct a very successful election without any incident there. The voter turnout in Andaman's reported as of now is 67.1%, and this is more than the voter turnout in the last parliament election of 64.15%. So that's about Andaman's. Thank you.
Mr. Das.
वो अभी बताते हैं. Sir, आप इधर आइए.
Mr. Das, I just answer this question. We are compiling the figures because 14 states are involved. So we'll average it out and let you know. That is being prepared. We'll send through our media cell. We will ensure.
Sir, the trend is increasing.
Trend is it is appreciably increasing. Yeah.
So is it phenomenal?
Yeah, it is record. It is a record. We have given you the figures for each state separately, and you must have seen across all the states that we have discussed so far, there has been an upsurge of the poll percentage. And especially in those populated states, like if UP registers a higher growth, you can imagine that it will have an impact on all the 14 states going for today's phase. May I request Mr. P.K. Das? We'll just note all your queries. We will certainly answer them. Not at the moment because we have just. Yes. Which figure? Sorry. Delhi. No. I would repeat it again. Maybe, but they are. I mentioned to you it is a 14 percentage points higher. 1-4. No, Delhi Assembly was 65.93. This time we have recorded so far 65%. Let us have the final figures. Maybe it will touch almost the same. We'll have to. It will be just a guesswork. But I think the polling percent in Kerala, I suppose, should be one of the highest. Maybe.
It would be high in Andaman.
Haryana 74%.
Haryana would be probably high.
Or maybe higher. 95 went for polls.
Actually, it was 92, but Hazaribagh in Jharkhand, the poll was postponed to the 17th of March. That is why it is 91 now. Okay.
Thank you. The total seizure figure for the constituencies which have gone to poll, the total seizure till today is 29.25 crore cash. Cash of 29.25 crore. 29.25 crore cash. The total seizure of liquor from these constituencies which have gone to poll is total 12,11,000 liters. 12,11,000 liters. Do you want breakup of the states? Yeah. Which went to poll? Cash and liquor. You want all India figure till today? No, the all India figure of. Yeah, I'll tell that. The all India figure of cash seizure till today is 217 crore 79 lakh. 217 crore 79 lakh 59,585. The total liquor seizure till today from all over the country is 1 lakh 8,000. 1 crore 8 lakh 52,521 liters. The total liquor seizure throughout the country till today is 1 crore 08 lakh 52,521 liters. No, this is the entire country till today. The other figure which I had given was No, this is till today, the entire seizure figure from the date of announcement. And the figures of the respective states, figure for the constituency which went to poll, Arunachal, it is 4.38 crore cash, Haryana 2.30 crore. Arunachal is 4.38 crore, Haryana is 2.30 crore, Chandigarh is 41 lakhs, Bihar is 20 lakhs, Odisha 1.30 crore, Kerala is 2.53 crore, Madhya Pradesh 1.71 crore, Maharashtra 5.80 crore, Delhi is 45 lakhs, UP 9.32 crores, and Chhattisgarh 85 lakhs. This is the total figure of the constituency which went to poll. So far as the state-wise figure of seizure of the entire country, number one is Andhra. It is 118 crore 47 lakhs 63,422. This is cash seizure. I repeat, 118 crore 47 lakh 63,422. Followed by Uttar Pradesh, which is 21 crore 36 lakh 31,752. And number 3 position is now Tamil Nadu, which is 18 crore 79 lakh 21,248. This is till today. Thank you.
He is Mr. P.K. Dash. Well, I would like to take this opportunity to all of you to convey Commission's sincere gratitude and thanks to all the poll personnel, especially the security personnel and the entire election machinery for having done a wonderful polls today. Thank you so much.
जो sampling